Hi guys, welcome to anime reviews, or I guess in this case, anime rap reviews. It's a thing I'm doing because I wanna, and that's basically all the reason I need. Also, it's slime related, and as the person that writes and directs the Slime Abridged series, it's something I kind of wanted to delve into. And also, when I took a look at the lyrics on Genius and I realized they missed a lot of other stuff, I kind of wanted to do a kind of a bar breakdown. Now, I want to go ahead and point out I am not a rap aficionado. I am not a rapper. This is just a basic schmo doing a breakdown. I think the only credit I have to my name is I listen to a lot of like lyrical rap, and so I'm used to catching like doubles and triples. And anybody who's ever listened to Eminem, and I know some people are rolling their eyes because I said that name, but here's the thing: he uses a lot of doubles and triples in there, so I'm used to kind of that kind of setup. And yes, I know I am white as a ghost. I am mostly Irish. I'm basically a translucent American, and I am proud. You can hold my arm up to a light and see my entire circulatory system. I'm basically clear. All right. That having been said, I want to go ahead and get into this and break down some of these lyrics. Now, I will be playing the video, and if you have not seen the video, now would be a good time to go watch it. The link is right down in the description. This is going to be a breakdown. There's going to be a lot of pausing. So if you're just here to watch the video and see my reaction, I've already watched this video several times because I like it. So it's not a reaction video. If you're here for that kind of stuff, probably not the best place to be if that's the content you're looking for. But if you're looking for somebody who's going to sit down and catch things, hopefully I do a good job. And it's okay to let me know if there's something that I missed that you caught. That's absolutely fine. Just don't be a jerk about it, Don't. My name's Richard. I'm the only one that gets to be a dick here, okay? So, that having been said, let's go ahead, jump right into this, and and just get the whole thing going. So, this is Rimuru Rap Slime by Rustage featuring Breedton Boi and Connor Quest. I am not overly familiar with UK hip-hop, so yeah. Apologies if I don't know anybody outside of Rustage. I know Rustage. I know of him, sorry. Alright, here we go. Already really digging the beat when this kicks in.
They don't want war with the slime. Micro be forming the line. They want to force me to fight. I can take down the king and then call it a night.
Alright, so before we get into the first rapping right there, the intro, they don't want war with the slime. My crew be forming the line. They want to force me to fight. I can take down a king and then call it a night. Should probably say, spoilers for seasons 1 and 2 of Slime if you have not watched Slime, but I'm assuming that you have if you're here for this bar breakdown. But if you have not seen the anime, please go watch the anime, then come back. All right, welcome back. So, all right, so there's a lot of groups out there that do not want to go to war with Rimuru, especially now that he's a demon lord. So yeah, they don't want war with the slime, and of course Rimuru is a slime. My crew be forming the line. Have you looked at his crew? Just the Oni alone, it's broken. But then you've got the insanely powerful hobgoblins, the high orcs, the tempest wolves. And then there is Diablo. I won't go any further past where season 2 has covered right now. But yeah, Rimuru has a habit of naming strays. And a lot of these strays turn out to be super powerful. It's ridiculous. And the anime doesn't properly do his squad justice. I would say definitely go read the light novels because even the hobgobs, you wouldn't think much about them. You're like, go up to the goat. And I'm like, dude, you got to meet some of the others. Especially the elders that got named and are now in charge of the goblin society as it is. It's pretty dope. They want to force me to fight. I can take down a king and then call it a night. Now, that is, I believe, a reference to how quickly Falmouth surrendered in less than like what 5 minutes, as Rimuru just wiped the floor with them. But also, that's a chess bar. Take down a king and then call it a knight. Now, it may not have been intentional, but I like to think it is. King, knight, chess, I'm here for it. All right, let's go.
They call me Tempest, that means they Shakespeare's when they see me getting restless.
All right, right there. All right, so Tempest, that means they Shakespeare's when they see me getting restless. So Rimuru's given name by Veldora is Rimuru Tempest, Tempest being his last name. And they Shakespeare's when they see it because when he goes to war, his opponents get scared. Now, that's the obvious part. Here's the part that other people miss. They're like, oh, Tempest, it's a reference to Shakespeare because of how it is spelled. Tempest is a play by Shakespeare, if you did not know. Yeah, it's one of the works penned by William Shakespeare. And that's a bar. Like, that shit is hard. This is the line that literally made me go, fuck it, I have to do a breakdown because genius missed that. But yeah, here it is. He's talking about this is literally this is a master writer in his craft that they're referencing here, or that he's referencing here. And oh my God, that's just phenomenal. So we go kings, knights, and then Shakespeare. You hearing this shit? This is great. All right, so moving on. This is going to be a long one, I'm sorry, because there's a lot going on here that, yeah.
Monsters. They call me Tempest, that means they Shakespeare's when they see me getting restless. Ticking monsters off the checklist. When I lead teams, I respect it.
Okay, so ticking monsters off the checklist, because honestly, it's like, it does feel like every day for Rimuru, it's like, oh shit, we got a new monster ally. Oh shit, we got a new monster ally. Like, they confront him and then he makes them part of his tribe. When I lead teams, I'm respected. Yeah, as soon as he gives them a name, he is outright idolized by whatever group he gave names. Like, just bring back the well, I guess the Oni now, but they were ogres before. And they fought him. And not only did he, like, hold his own, he was like, look, you guys don't actually have a chance against me. And then eventually he came in, they spoke with each other, they had a dialogue, and he named them. And now they're like his most loyal attendants. All right. It's ridiculous, dude. It's ridiculous how good this is.
Waterblade, I leave him headless. Copy like Ditto, I leave him digested. And by the time that I'm done with them, they all be talking like that was a little excessive.
I love that part of, that was a little excessive. Like, just the playful nature of that. All right, so when I lead teams, I'm respected. We covered that. Waterblade, I leave him headless. It's pretty much the first attack that Rimuru uses, I believe, other than just consuming and eating things. But, like, the proper attack, he's going up against a black serpent? I can't remember the actual name of the monster. But he went up against a serpent, and it was an A-class monster. Of course, he didn't know that. And he used Waterblade and instantly just clean decapitation. Just took it right out. Waterblade, I leave him headless. So that is a great reference right there. And then copy like Ditto, I leave him digested, because that's absolutely an ability of Rimuru's. He will consume something. I've made the Kirby reference so many times in the Abridged, but I guess in a way you could say it's like Ditto, except Ditto doesn't consume what he copies. But yeah, at least not to my knowledge. Pokemon fans, where you at? Come correct me if that's true. I need to know. I'm gonna get a little closer to the mic. People have been saying I'm too quiet lately. All right, and so so very much like Ditto, he copies their abilities and he can pick and choose. And by the time that I'm done with them, they'll all be talking like that was a little excessive. There are definitely moments where it feels like Rimuru has gone a little overboard, and even he admits that. But at the time, it will also feel necessary, earned. Like, to go back to the first half of season 2, when Tempest went to war with Falmouth, every bit of that felt cathartic. Like, you you felt like, as the viewer, that what happened to those people was something they deserved. But from their perspective, it was a little excessive, especially when it came to Merciless, because most of them had already just given up. They did not want to fight. They were done. They were like, nope, we want no part of this. And then just within a second, just bam, they're gone. All right. So there we go.
Naming people like I'm penning novels, I can face a demon, you can beg and grovel.
Naming people like I'm penning novels, I can face a demon, you can beg and grovel. So, yeah, as we've pointed out a few times, Rimuru has a penchant for naming strays that he picks up. I make a joke about this. You know, stop bringing home strays and naming them. But, yeah. And it's very much a large part of this series is like him bringing in new allies and naming them. And he's like I'm penning novels. He's named, like, if you don't know the amount of monsters he has named, everyone, and I mean everyone in his nation that is a monster, Rimuru has personally named. No joke. You're talking about hundreds of thousands, possibly close to millions now. And he has named all of them. So, yeah, very much like he's penning novels. There's that many words. All right, just to get into the light novel nitty gritty here, to put on the extra nerdy, this man has named so many people that he had to start giving them the same name and giving them numbers behind it. So it's kind of like saying Bill 1, Bill 2, and Bill 3. Or all right, if you've seen it, you know the reference. Peter 1, Peter 2, Peter 3. But yeah, and I could face a demon, you could beg and grovel. So he's essentially talking about Diablo, or I guess in this case, Noir, the primordial black. So yeah, he summoned 3 demons. And keep in mind, he was doing this as he was shutting down and getting ready to turn into a demon lord. So he was already fading from consciousness, and he summoned 3 demons. Now, granted, one of them came of his own volition. He didn't summon Diablo. Diablo felt a summons and was like, oh, it's finally time. And he showed up himself. He kind of barged in. But yeah, then what does Rimuru do later when he comes back, when he comes to? He's like, oh, okay. I'll just name you because, you know, you don't have a name. And he basically becomes his butler. So you could say that Beg and Grovel has a lot to do with the King of Falmouth, which I don't remember his name right now. He's just an armless dude. He's pretty armless. Anyway, but you know how he begged and groveled, especially once Shion was done, and I can't wait. I hope the movie is going to cover that. If you did not hear, Slime is getting a movie. But yes. I can face a demon, you can beg and grovel. It's basically like that's just swagging all over him because it's true. So many people beg and grovel to Rimuru, and honestly, Rimuru doesn't like that kind of thing. But moving on.
These basic peons with their petty squabbles cause a race of beings, all that's left and falls with some.
Well, there we go. All these basic peons with their petty squabble. And to be real, the whole reason that Falmouth went to war with Tempest in the first place was over some petty shit. Now, in the large scheme of things, it seems like some petty shit. To Falmouth, it was a huge thing because what Tempest was doing was affecting their economy. And it was going to have major negative effects on their economy. But if they'd actually contacted Tempest and attempted to work with them, instead of just being like, we're going to take over this nation of monsters because we've got this grand army and all these other worlders that we've summoned, they got a little full of themselves because they were essentially a big fish in a small pond, you know? And yeah, really basic peons with their petty squabble is kind of how Rimuru would look at it, especially right before Maggie Doe when he's looking down on their whole army. That's 20,000 people that this man murked in like 5 minutes or less. Scorch a race of beings, all that's left are fossils. Again, Maggie Doe. Literally, if you don't know, please go read the light novels. They give so much more detail. Literally, what happened was he used his knowledge of the other world, his knowledge of science and chemistry and how the waves of light and reflection and refraction, and he literally formed water in the air pulling in the molecules. So yeah, science. He kind of did that. And he made these little balls or lenses and things like that to refract and reflect sunlight. And literally, what he was murdering everybody with was literally concentrated, super concentrated sunlight that he was using to basically direct with water molecules, direct, reflect, and amplify. And literally, he scorched the earth in that way. And on top of that, it was high noon. So the entire time that this was going down, it was noon, and he was using the sun, and it took the barest minimum of magic. Now, I'm overhyping Rimuru in this. Let's face it, the actual calculations were done by Great Sage. As I have said once before, Rimuru is not a god, he's Kirby with a cheat code. But that's a hell of a cheat code. But yeah, all the calculations were going on. The instantaneous math that was needed was brought up by was something that Great Sage had to handle. But at the same time, Rimuru came up with the idea. So yeah, scorch a race of beings, all that's left are fossils. He didn't kill the race, but whew, that was a genocide. Like, oh boy. All right, let's get back to it.
I'm the king of this horde. Benny Murray, I see red with a sword. Like Gilman with your head on the floor. Gather, I cut him in half like a messy divorce. I'm ready for war.
Woo! Okay, I'm the king of this horde. Rimuru is absolutely the king of the horde of monsters that he is essentially in charge of. Even though he doesn't want the responsibility, and that's one of the funny things about it. But Benimaru, I see red with the sword, because Benimaru slices people up. But funny enough, now maybe back early when he was with Rimuru and the crew, it could have been like that. But now Benimaru sees black with the sword, because he essentially he incinerates everybody with black fire, Amaterasu. In a way. Act like Gelmud with your head on the floor. So for those of you that don't remember, Gelmud was the guy that brought the Orc Lord's armies together, Geld's armies. And then what happened to that man? Oh, Geld, the Orc disaster, cut his effing head off. Just right there on the floor. Geld, how I cut him in half like a messy divorce. And literally that's what happened. He cut his head off, split him in half. And dude, yeah, cut him in half like a messy divorce. Geld did that. 100%. I'm ready for war. Okay. Woo. Boss of the Goblins, Krenko, is the one thing that I had to look up because I did not fully understand that, because I'm not a Magic the Gathering boss. But I want to go ahead and get into that before. The first group. Okay, so I'm ready for war. Boss of the Goblins, because 100%. Rimuru started as the boss of the goblins, like 100%. And then Krenko is a Magic the Gathering card, and he's a mob boss, which is a goblin that summons other goblins. So nice little bar there, nice little flex. Is Tesco a store? I don't know. I forgive my ignorant United States not knowing enough about the world kind of thing. I blame our education system. I don't know shit about the world. Well, I know some things about the world, but not much.
I'm a disaster, rank, don't answer back. Stepping to me, it's like stepping on death's row.
Woo. Okay. I also need to point out, cut him in half like a messy divorce. You ever been part of a messy divorce, whether you were a kid from a messy divorce or you were getting a messy divorce from your significant other? That shit, yeah, that can cut families in half. Straight up. That stuff's horrible. I'm a disaster, rank, don't answer back. If you don't know, in Slimes, the monsters are categorized by A through S class, and then once you get to S class, there are certain kind of ranks. There's disaster, there's catastrophe, you know, all sorts of different ranks. And of course, Rimuru keeps climbing up those ranks as well, not just the basic ranks. So yeah, I'm a disaster rank. Don't answer back, because if you answer back, you might catch these hands, or you might catch this magic, or you just might catch death. Stepping to me is like stepping on death row. I mean, facts. Just literally, that's just Rimuru's swagging right there, you know?
MMO, how I be leveling, stepping stones, not even threatening. Xenoverse, what are you messing with? Metronome, shit is repetitive. They underestimate me and regretting it.
Alright, so MMO, how I be leveling. Obviously, if anybody's played an MMO, God, very much a lot of leveling in that, and it's a big part of the experience. But I would say, honestly, Rimuru is kind of power leveling, and there is a bit of power creep in there. But I would say that a big part of Slime is it's more like Sims, or Civ, honestly, because he's building a civilization, and you're kind of watching that. And the world building of Slime is a very big part of what makes Slime so good. Stepping stones, not even threatening. Yeah, he's literally like everything that challenges Rimuru, everything that kind of shows up to try and rear its head, it just becomes another stepping stone for him to gain more power. So 100%. Xenophobes, watch who you're messing with. Like, so many people give him shit for being a slime, and they talk down to him, and then they turn around and get their ass whooped. Metronome shit is repetitive. If you don't know a metronome, it's a very repetitive noise. It shouldn't be, but yeah, again, it's like the same thing we were just talking about. It's like somebody steps up, they get taken out by Rimuru, he gets stronger. Same thing happens over and over again. So if you step to me, it's just a repetitive cycle. I'm gonna get stronger, and I'm gonna kick your ass. They underestimating me and regretting it. Yeah, there's a lot of people that underestimate Rimuru, and do they regret it, man?
What you know about death, let alone coming back when you've seen the end. Ain't pressed by it.
Now, this was the only thing I had a bit of an issue with, was ain't pressed by it. I was like impressed. I get that probably syllabically or syllable wise. I don't know what the proper term is here, but I get why you chose that, but ain't pressed by it. I'm just like, sometimes there are words that you shorten to try and make it work, and you bend them, and I'm like, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And just for me personally, it may work for everyone else. I may be that odd one out, but for me personally, I don't know if I liked pressed instead of impressed. Ain't impressed by it instead, but you know, that's just me. Otherwise, I like this hook, or rather the pre-chorus.
Coming back when you've seen the end.
Yeah, and it's very much, I love kind of like the story that they're telling, or I guess the scheme in this one. You know, what you know about death, let alone coming back when you've seen the end, because literally, Rimuru got stabbed to death in his previous life, died, and then reincarnated as a slime. So, yeah. And he does kind of take it in stride, because he is the most chill slime you've ever met.
Ain't pressed by it, take it in my stride. Don't call me your slime, got a second chance, but I won't give one now. Acting like they fans, but they only want clout.
These are 100% reanimation bars. Like, this is 100% reincarnation bars. Got a second chance, but I won't give one out. And that's true. It's very true for Rimuru. He got a second chance being in this isekai, but and he's pretty easygoing. He's pretty understanding. He's pretty chill. But if you test him, there ain't no second chances. Acting like they're fans, but they only want clout. Okay, so this I think is more, again, getting back to, I guess, kind of the rap scene, or like from their perspective, from the perspective of these three, rather than Rimuru himself. There are some clout chasers, but I don't think they've showed up yet.
Since I blew, I've been on that cool ride to live this new life. Don't come in your
Backstabbed
slime.
and I was left to die, and now we've been revived in a new place.
Backstab, literal. Like, watch the show. Watch the show and you'll get it.
Everybody see me as a slime, and I get recognized for my blue face.
Because Rimuru is blue. I
Die, and now we've been revived in a new place. Everybody see me as a slime, and I get
that is so cool. Because it looks like such realistic gelatin slime stuff right there. And I'm like, oh, did we just go to a different... No, they stayed cartoony anime with it, but it's still...
get recognized for my blue face. Tried to pull the Draco on me, but I went survived. Guided by the great sage.
Okay, this one I don't get, and maybe that's because I'm not overly familiar with what they're talking about. So somebody let me know down below what tried to pull a Draco on me, but I survived. I get kind of the gist of what's being said, but I want to know the specifics. What Draco specifically are they talking about? My dumbass, I immediately went to Draco Malfoy, but I'm pretty sure that's not it, because I'm sitting there spinning that in my head, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. So it might be a specific like regional thing that they're talking about. I don't know. So I want to know. Let me know down in the comments. Guided by the Great Sage. Yeah, literally as things were going on and they're showing it on screen, as he's dying, the Great Sage is literally making these little improvements or adjustments to the creation of his new slime body. And so, yeah, that's very much being guided by the Great Sage.
Messing people who are in the crisis, got them realigned, we on the same page.
That and all right, so another thing that I'm loving about this is like what they are talking about is on screen. So met some people who were in crisis, got them realigned, we're on the same page. Literally, the goblins were in a crisis. They talked with Rimuru, and because of Rimuru's help, they were able to fend off an attack by the direwolves, and as such, got the direwolves and the goblins together, all united, and now they're all on the same page. Fucking, what a beautiful way to take so much content and put it into one sentence. Just, good one, Breedton.
I done made the name for everybody in my crew, and that's no way I'm stopping it. Next, I'm trying to put my city on the map, we're forcing doubters to acknowledge it.
Literally what's happening. Now, this is a double because he's talking about, you know, the work he's putting into the rap game, but also this is very literal in a sense as to what's happening in slime. I've done made a name for everybody in my crew. Yes. Number one, Rimuru, he names everybody in his crew, and it's also, you know, a double in the rap game. It's like, look, me and my boys, we made a name for ourselves. And that's not where I'm stopping at, which is also true. He's trying to build his own city, build his own civilization. And I would assume that's where they're at. They're like, look, making a name for ourselves is great, but we want more. We're still hungry. Me, eat that shit up. And then next, I'm going to try and put my city on the map. Again, that's like, you got to have goals. All right, first we made a name for ourselves. All right, now we're going to put our city on the map. Like, I want to get famous to the point that you know where we are. Like, Nobody really knew about Liverpool until the Beatles. The Beatles put Liverpool on the map. So, in a sense, same thing. Next, I'm trying to put my city on the map, been forcing doubters to acknowledge it. So next, I'm going to be putting my city on the map. Literally. With deals with Dwargo, the Dwarven King, and many others like Blumund and Eurazania and Thalion. I'm just trying to, there's a lot more, but I'm just trying to cover anime only stuff. I don't want to give spoilers. But with just that alone, the nation of Tempest and the city of Rimuru have essentially been put on the map. People already knew about the Great Forest of Jura, and now there's a demon lord that controls all of it. This man put his city on the map and is forcing all his doubters to acknowledge it 100%. Plus, again, going back to the rap game,
We got real hitters in our populace, can bring catastrophe like Milam Nava did.
I mean, we got real hitters in our populace, and I love that they show Shion because she's the quickest one to want to swing on somebody. But I got real hitters. You know, you get those hitters, get somebody that's gonna shoot. But also, you got people that are hitters. They can spit that shit out. Like they can use their words to just take you down. We got so many in our populace, but it could bring catastrophe like Milam Nava did. Milam Nava just by herself, Milam is a catastrophe. Like there's no other way to describe her. She is literally chaos in a tiny package that could sneeze away your entire nation. It's just like she's just a walking catastrophe. But she's manageable catastrophe because Rimuru figured that shit out. He can tame Milam Nava. It's just a lot of food and hey, look at all these new shiny things that I can show you. She's very much still a kid. But yeah, dude, Milam, holy shit, could bring catastrophe like Milam Nava did. So it's like, hey, you want to step to me? We got a lot of, there's a lot of people that live here that got my back that are amazing at what they do. And if you want to start some shit, we will bring this shit. We will end your shit with a catastrophe. So there you go.
So you can see this sounds like an astrologist. If you disturb the peace, it's got a consequence.
Oh, I love this. So you can see the stars like an astrologist. Of course, an astrologist, their job, they look at stars. Astrology is the study of the stars and the heavens. Neil deGrasse Tyson, a very famous astrologist. So yeah, if you disturb the peace, it's got a consequence. I keep telling people this. I was like, look, yes, you have the freedom of speech, but you also have the freedom to not get criticized for saying whatever you want. Like, you are allowed to go out and say some stupid shit, but you're also allowed to suffer the consequences for the stupid shit that you say. It's like, guys, you're going to have to accept the consequences of your actions, whether those consequences be positive or negative. And I want to go ahead and stress this. Yes, there is a such thing as positive consequences. A positive outcome is still a consequence of your actions. Too many people have been led to think that consequence specifically means a negative thing. It does not. All right, thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Oh, you start for the beef with one power elite, you don't want to push buttons. Once I turn to a predator, crew from the eater for skill, now I feel like a glutton.
I love the wordplay in this, okay? Whew. All right, so, Breedton Boi. Holy shit on the wordplay with these specifics here. So, you starve for the beef? So it's like, oh, you want some beef? You that hungry? You want to get some beef? Well, my power elite, and Rimuru's power is very, very elite. You don't want to push buttons. Come on, man. Don't start shit. Don't start shit. One piece. Once I turn predator, so double right there. Once I, as in like a predator that will prey on other animals, but also the skill predator that Rimuru has. Crew fit and eat off a skill, which is exactly what predator does. It consumes a skill. And then by using that, the consumption and copy ability that it possesses, you end up with Rimuru getting a copy of that skill. Sorry, there was a bug, had to deal with it. Crew fit to eat off a skill. Now I feel like a glutton. Glutton, of course, is also another one of Rimuru's skills that later becomes Beelzebub. I feel like it's okay to say that because it was in the anime. However, this is just phenomenal wordplay. Predator, skill, glutton. This is 100% Rimuru, but it's also just swagging all over you guys. It's like, you come after me, you start shit, and I'm going to eat you up. It's just the end of it. That's just how it is. Sorry, I hit my mic. But, such good wordplay here. Like, such good wordplay.
Trust me, y'all don't know what I could be on. 2 rounds to your chest and now you look like Shia. I'm Demon Lord status, you a stuck up Pia. I'm shutting your team up once I'm done with Leah.
Trust me, y'all don't know what I could be on. 2 rounds to your chest and now you look like Shion. Okay, so she's got 2 round things on her chest. So titty bars already. Titty bar. But yeah, we've got booby bars. But also 2 rounds to your chest, 2 slugs to your chest. And you're going to look like Shion because guys, if you haven't seen season 2, Shion's laid up on the ground. So that is some beautiful shit. Laid up on the ground, dead, essentially. She is 100% dead. 2 rounds to your chest, and now you look like Shion, but she's got that 2 round things on her chest. So, right now, as of the recording of this video, I'm single, so I can get away with my pervy shit. If I had a girlfriend, she'd slap the shit out of me right now. All right. Anyway, I'm Demon Lord status. You're a stuck-up peon. Facts. I'm shutting your team up once I'm done with Leon. Leon, of course, another Demon Lord, responsible for the state of Shizu and how she ended up. I won't go too much into that, but I did, when he set up, once I'm done with Leon, and knowing what I know from reading the light novels, I kind of was like, and I will say nothing. So there we go.
Don't call me your slime. Got a second chance, but I won't give one now. Acting like they fans, but they only want clout. Since I blew, I've been on that cool ride to live this new life. Don't call me your slime.
They don't want war with the slime. My group be forming the line. They want to force me to fight. I could take down the king and then call it a night.
Once again, bars.
They don't want war with the slime. They would assault like a knife. They want to talk like they find, but when facing a god, then they forfeit their life. They would assault like a knife. They want to talk like they find, but when facing a god, then they forfeit their life.
All right, so there we go. I love that second half of it. They don't want war with the slime. They wield a sword like a knife. So it's like you don't even know what you're doing. You've got this weapon that you don't even know how to use. Now, again, that could be brought back to the rap game. It's like, bro, you're talking all this shit, but nothing that you're saying matters because you're not doing anything with it. But also, sword, knife, it could, the literal stuff there. They want to talk like they bite, so all bark, all bite, so they're weak biters than, the weak talkers. But when facing a god, then they forfeit their life. Bars, going right back to Rimuru using Merciless. When they face him, he's basically like a god to them at that point. He's not even in Demon Lord form yet. He's mere seconds away from it. And they forfeited their life by giving up and not wanting to fight him. And he just used Merciless and done. Beautiful. Beautiful.
The slime, they would assault like a knife. They want to talk like they find, but when facing a god, then they forfeit their life.
What you know about death, let alone coming back when you've seen the end. Ain't pressed by it, take it in my stride. Don't call me your slime, got a second chance.
Okay, so most of this is the same thing that I just broke down. So since it's more or less repeated, I'm not gonna watch the rest of this as a whole because I wouldn't have anything to say or to break down. It's just basically the same thing that I've already been working on and breaking down. So there it is. There's my breakdown. Thank you so much to honestly Rustage, Connor Quest, and Breedton Boi for making this cool ass track, but also for allowing me to do this breakdown. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I don't know if I'm gonna do any more. It depends on how much I know the subject matter. I don't want to break down shit that I don't know about, and this is my first time doing a breakdown, so I'm not overly familiar with this. I've seen other people do like kind of rap breakdowns and stuff, but I'm trying to do my own thing, and I'm more knowledgeable about slime than I am about like the rap industry. But I mean, this was just a fun thing to do that I wanted to do. I may do more if you guys want that, but ultimately it's kind of up to you. And if I missed anything, once again, you can let me know down in the comments. Just don't be a jerk about it. That's it. But yeah, if you have not seen this, why are you on this video still, especially at the end of it? Please go watch it. And if you like this breakdown, maybe go back and rewatch it again with some of the stuff that I was talking about in your head. I think maybe you'll appreciate it more. Unless you were like, oh, I caught all that shit too. And in which case, just go back and rewatch it because it's fucking dope. I'm Richie Roberts. These are anime reviews. And this has been an anime rap review, which is a new thing for me. But thank you guys so much. I'll see you with more stuff. And happy 2022, everybody.